How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video from me here at ScrubGames. So, I'm trying to do something new because, as you've seen if you've watched my channel, I normally do deck profiles, event coverage, and then on Sunday I do the Previously in DBS series where I go over the week's news in a one video. And also on Saturdays I do the DBS Dragon Ball Z team training Nuzlocke. That's been very enjoyable and 4 episodes in. But I wanted to try and do some discussion videos because there's be a bit more varied in my content. And I thought for the first one to do, it would be regarding alternate formats for your locals. Because as you know, at locals, you don't always get the most competitive players. You will also have casual players, even new players, or players that like to play thematic and things like that. And also, sometimes people will use locals to do testing, ready for big events, but when there's no big events or nothing to do or nothing to prepare for, it is nice sometimes to use some, like play an alternate format just to have a bit of fun and try something different. So what I did is I did a bit of research, asking a few people and discussing on my Discord as well about alternate formats, and I found 5 different ones that you could give a try and suggestions. So if you're interested in trying some of this from your locals, feel free to continue, and hopefully this will be quite useful for you. So the first one I have is a format called Player Not the Deck. So this is a format where you play a Swiss best of 1 event, and for the first round everybody plays using their own deck that they brought, but then after each round all the decks from everybody are placed on the table together and go from last to place based on the current standings at the end of the current round. Players pick a deck from on the table from all the ones that are there to play the next round with. So essentially you go through the tournament playing a different deck every round, and to make sure that happens you can enforce a rule where players can't pick the same deck they've already played, but the only time they can is if there's no other option. Like you will sometimes get it where people pick certain decks and the last deck left is something they've already played, but then that can't be helped. And this is an extremely fun format because you get to test multiple different decks, which helps you learn from 2 standpoints, from playing the deck itself and playing against it, and you get to try different things to learn a bit more. Now this is great especially for new players to pick up a deck before they invest in it and give it a try, and also learn a bit more, like if they're more of a mid-range player and they pick or get given a aggro deck, they can try looking like an aggro deck from aggro stance and things like that. And it's really nice and casual. The only downside that I've ever come up with when playing this format is if someone brings an unplayable deck. Like one time when I did this at locals, we did have one person bring Green Wish Pilaf, and it was not greatly built. It was just revolved around using the skillless chain, using the pan and stuff to bring in a skillless. No real big bomb, no way to awaken early because they're just the standard stuff from the set, and it was a horrible time. And everybody who picked it up couldn't win a game, even this trade. Like I had it for the last round, and I tried as hard as I could, managed to eventually get awakening because the opponent didn't know how to use their deck properly because they're learning, and yeah, everybody picked up the deck, couldn't win with it. But apart from that, it's a really enjoyable format, and it's a great one to use for locals sometimes. Now another one that we have is cube drafting, which, as you know from watching my video, if you watch my channel anyway, is a format that I really enjoy. It's one of my favorite formats in any TCG. But if you don't know, if you've not watched my channel and you don't know what cube drafting is, it's basically a draft format where you draft a deck within a group of between 2 to 8 players using a specific card pool. So players will receive 6 randomized packs, and when I say packs I mean like 12 random cards from a collected pool that you've built, which then you'll draft. And by drafting I mean you take a card from the pack and pass it on going left then right. So like you go left, you keep passing it left, then after that pack you go on to the next pack, you pass it right to like switch it around, and then you keep doing that until all the cards are picked, and then you build a deck from the card pool you've created from the cards you've picked. So you got to be careful in what you pick, thinking about what you're going to build, And then after you've done that and built your deck, you then play with the rest of the players either a Swiss or round robin tournament to have some fun. Now this is an interesting format and in my opinion a fantastic one, but then I'm a bit biased because it helps build and improve deck building skills in players, and there's a new way for new players to learn the game and play it. And by that it's really interesting because it helps people think like when you're crafting your card pool, you've got to think more like, do I have too many high costing battle cards? Do I have too many low costing battle cards? Do I have a game ender? Do I have synergy? Do I have this? Do I have that? And it's just a fantastic way to play. And for most people that have joined my cube drafting tournaments that I used to host on a Sunday, which I hopefully be starting back up sometime soon, it is very enjoyable and very fun. I don't think anybody who played in mine had a horrible time, and most people I know really enjoy the format. If you are interested in the format and want to learn more, down in the description box is a link to the Cube Drafting and Dragon Ball Super group that I created for all things cube drafting, and also check out my other videos regarding cube draft if you want to learn more about it. And then the next format we have, so that's number 2. Number 3rd we have is Pauper. Now this is a format I know is in Magic the Gathering, because this is a format where there's a deck building limitation where you can only use cards that are either common, uncommon, or rare. So that means no super rares, no special rares, no secret rares, and especially no promos. Because as we know, there's a lot of promos in Dragon Ball Super card game, and most of them make an impact on your deck. So just like all of these, they're a great format for new players looking to start Dragon Ball Super. And as well as that, you put everybody on the same playing field, because that means there's no promos, because like sometimes promos are hard to get or quite costly. Same with SRs, secret rares, things like that. So everybody's on the same playing field, and then it comes down to the player's skill and ideology when it comes to the deck. That comes on top. So if you've got a lot of new players and you've got a lot of veteran players, then this is a great one to play. Because I've played it, I think, 2 or 3 times. At one time it's quite early when it was not many sets. I think it's 3 sets. Then at that point it was just androids or bust. But now we've got 15 sets. There's a lot of commons, non-commons, and rares, and you can get some quite interesting combinations and builds with it. So that's the 3rd option. And for the 4th one, we have Team Wards. Now I know this is a format that's already in Dragon Ball Super, because it's one that used to be at tournaments, but it's been a while since that came about, and now that has it's been a while since we've had it, but it is an enjoyable format. So if you've never played Team Wars or started playing the game after the last Team Wars event happened, it's essentially a format where you form a team with 2 other people, and you compete in an event as a team rather than individuals. So like when you normally go to a tournament, you enter yourself, you play. This time you don't enter yourself, you enter as a team, and you play your match as a team, where you have 3 people, and you need 2, like in a normal event for a best of 3, you need 2 out of 3 wins to win. So if you win, you need one of your teammates to win to secure a best 2 out of 3. And when you do make your team, you choose which member of your team is player A, which is player B, and player C. And that is because when you play each round, you have your player A face your opponent's player A, your player B face your opponent's player B, and same with C. And also there is a limitation on deck building as well for this format. So, for example, if only one player can use any copy of a card, so for a good example, as we got on screen, if player A is using Senzu Bean in the deck, it doesn't matter if it's all 4 copies or just 1, 2, or 3 copies. Player B and player C cannot include any copies of Senzu Bean in the deck if player A is playing Bean, and vice versa. If B is playing a certain card, the other 2 can't play it. This makes it very strategic when it comes to building decks together and prompts team communication and strategy. Now, this one is a lot harder to organize, as to make it work effectively, you need at least 12 people interested at your locals to play. And that at least creates a decent tournament, because with 12 people, you have 4 teams of 3, and you can run a round robin or tournament then, so every team plays every team at least once. And it's also great for socializing for newer players and learning as you go, because you can communicate with your teammates to help with your building the deck before the event, and then while during the event you can communicate with your teammates to help regarding plays, and it is a lot of fun as well. And lastly, we have another one, which is a shout out to Ryan K, a friend of mine from Team Fanboy 3 in Manchester in the UK. When I was researching ideas and different kind of formats you could play for fun for your locals, he gave a really good one, which is I think he said came from Yu-Gi-Oh, which I know not everybody came from the same game, but it's another different Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's called the Master Rule. Oops. So Master Rule is where you play a normal tournament, but at the start of every turn, before the turn player starts the turn, they roll a 20-sided die and resolve an effect based on the result. So it's all up to you and your locals what the 20 effects what the effects you want from. You don't have to have a 20-sided die. You can have whatever sided die you want, or you can flip a coin. You can do however you want, just as long as you've got some way to randomly decide like a certain rule. And you can have a multiple, you can have a lot, you can have quite not many. But I've got some examples of ones I'm going to try with my local testing team when we meet up together next time to play some games. So I've gone for a 20-sided die rule, and these are the examples I have. So, for example, if you roll 1, then you have the effect where both players reveal the top card of the deck, and they can play the revealed card without paying any energy cost. But if they don't, they just add it to their hand instead. Now, if you roll 2, you destroy all battle cards in both players' battle areas whose printed cost is 5 or more. But if you roll 3, both players discard one card at random, so like you shuffle your hands, put them down, and then pick a card at random. But if you roll 4, then the turn player cannot play battle cards for that turn. And then if you roll 5, both players can add any card from the deck to their hand, then shuffle their decks if they look for them. Then if you roll 6, the turn player sends all cards from the drop area to the warp. And for 7, the turn player takes the damage. For 8, the turn player discards their entire hand. For 9, the turn player shuffles their hand into the deck and then draws 5 cards. For 10, both players play with their hands revealed for the rest of the game. Then for 11, the turn player cannot play extra cards for the turn. And then for 12, all unisons currently in play are placed in the drop area. And then for 13, the opposing player discards their entire hand. For 14, the opposing player shuffles their hand into the deck and then draws 5 cards. And for 15, you destroy all battle cards in both players' battle areas whose printed cost is 4 or less. For 16, the opposing player takes 1 damage. If you roll 17, the opposing player sends all cards from the drop area to a warp. Then for 18, we have the turn player cannot play unisons for the turn. And then for 19, the opposing player draws 5 cards. And if you roll 20, the God roll, then the turn player draws 5 cards. So as I said, these are not ones that you should have to use. You can make up your own, change them. I've made these ones so it can be used whether it's in-person locals or webcam or untap tournaments. But you can change them however you want. For example, someone suggested that you can have some wacky ones where if you're in-person, you can have it so instead of just you don't have to be during your player's turn. You can have after a certain amount of time, 60 seconds or something, and have effects like all players switch seats with the person to their right or the left, things like that. You can do however you want with it. But this one is quite nice. It gives a lot of utility in a lot of different ways to play it. But that is all of the formats I found. So thank you for watching if you watched it. You can always give a like if you want to let me know if you enjoyed this video and if you thought it was a great idea. You can always comment down below as well if you have any formats you have been doing at your locals, or any ideas I haven't given on there, or if there's any differences you would feel for these formats. It'd be interesting to see everybody's ideas and do a collaboration. And if I get any more, I can make another video going over more formats. And lastly, if you want to subscribe to my channel, feel free to do so. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop, and helps out my channel because we're on the way to trying to get the goal is to get 1,000 subs, and we're a quarter of the way there with being just over 250. Now, once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in more discussion videos like this. So, bye for now.